Hey guys, it's Fana, and thank you so much for watching. This is a very impromptu illustration of my OC Nova, who you've seen a couple times. This, I think, is the first full body picture I've ever posted of her, but even though it's full body, it's not from the front, and it's not her normal outfit at all. I found that Nova is very much my experimental kind of OC, where I want to do fun things with her, and I can just mess around and play with her because she is my star galaxy girl, so I find that I can do a lot of more unusual things with her. This is actually going to be a lineless piece, which is a art style that I have not done since August 2016. So over a year it's been since I've done a lineless art piece. I got that date from the Jack Frost fan art that I did back in August 2016, which I'll put a link somewhere. As you can see in this video, I pull up the Jack Frost periodically to reference it, but basically the process of lineless art is that you have a sketch and then you lower its opacity so that you can barely see it, and then you do block colors of the character with this sketch over top of it so you can kind of see where you're going. As a artist who always does line art, lineless art is difficult for me at times, but it's a lot of fun because I have to completely go about, I have to tackle my art in a completely new way. I have to think about it differently with lineless work. It's more shaped base, and it's also hard because, especially with my hair line art, I love putting in all these tiny lines and details, and with lineless art I can't do that. The way that you show like different shapes or lines, if you will, is through shading or a slight variation in the color, such as I make it so that her neck is a darker brown, almost black color than her face, because then that separates her face from her neck, and the same with her arms. The her left arm, which is farther away, ends up being a much darker color, just to kind of set it apart so it doesn't become one big massy blob. I do want to draw Nova more. She's very relaxing to draw, especially her hair, and she needs to have a finalized design. She does have a finalized design in my sketchbook, but it doesn't have colors or anything like that. And since I do not do lineless art very often, I don't have a particular technique or style to do it. There is a artist who I absolutely love her lineless art, and I cannot remember her name. She has the graphic novel Princess, and she has this little series called the Tea Dragon Society, and I'm completely blanking on her name, and I'm going to have to look her up and put her information down below or something. But just Google those two projects and you can easily find her. But she is very much my my influence for lineless art. She's the reason why I kind of looked at it and was like, let me try this and see what happens. What's also really fun with Nova is that I'm able to add a lot of glowy and star techniques into her design. I love making her hair glow, and later on in the piece you'll see that I do stars everywhere. And I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do for the background of this. I wanted it to be her holding a star but then I didn't know what to do for the background. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do clouds or a galaxy or whatnot, because her dress is supposed to also be kind of starry galaxy themed, so I wanted it to differentiate from the background. So I was kind of fiddling with this and struggling with it a little bit, which can be very frustrating. Yeah, it's hard to find the line between, well, I want it to be detailed, but I don't want it to have any lines in it as well. Which, you know, as I do more lineless art, I'm sure that I will find that balance a lot more and a lot easier. The hands were probably the hardest thing on this piece for me, because I just can't draw hands normally, and then when you add in that there's no lines for the hands, that I didn't want them to be blobs. But originally the stars were supposed to be just on the outsides of the dresses, but then as I was not clipping them to the blue of the dress, I realized that I really liked the stars kind of floating around the dress, so I decided to add that into this piece. Another thing that I struggled with is she has such a dark color palette that when I did my black background with her kind of walking, if you will, like I wanted to be like water rippling or like the sky rippling, so that's why there are little puddle things beneath her feet. When I have the black background, I couldn't see any of the details, especially with her hands, the hands that I spent so much time on. Not that much time, but it's fine. So after I finished recording the Speedpaint, I decided to edit the colors a little bit more. I made it a little bit more purpley so that it stood out, and as you can actually see in the Speedpaint, I do add some purple highlights, especially around the arms and the hands, because I wanted you to be able to see that she is cupping this star. But I do really like how this piece turned out. I recommend trying different art styles that you're not terribly comfortable with. There's no harm in experimenting, and you might find that you love doing something new. I know that I definitely want to do more lineless work. It's quite relaxing, even though it's difficult for me, and I just like it a lot. Oh, and for some reason, I suddenly decided to add wings to Nova. I don't know why. It's still Nova, but she doesn't have like little fairy wings like this, but I think it added to the piece. But anyway, if you like this, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. I hope you have a phenomenal day and keep being extraordinary. Bye!